live radio, local podcasts, the Frederick Podcast Network at listenfrederick.com.
The Fedora Files.
Hello and welcome to the Fedora Files. I am Gregory Fedora, and with me today are two awesome guests who have written a book, and we're going to get into it. If you are into ghosts and paranormal, this is the show you're going to love. You're not going to hear me talking about monsters in the woods. We're going to be talking about spectral beings and all that fun stuff. With me is Pete and Richard, and they've written a cool book. Guys, welcome and thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks for the invite.
So, first of all, like your book, tell me about like what brought about the idea of writing this book together.
Did you want to go?
The pandemic.
Whichever one of you, whoever wants to go first. All right,
Yeah.
Richard, go ahead.
So it was brought about during the pandemic.
Mhm.
We like to get out in the field and like to investigate. And during COVID-19, pretty well all the doors were closed to us. Rightfully so. I mean, I wouldn't want strangers coming around me either. So, so Pete and I got together and said, "Well, we're going to do something. Can't just sit around the house doing nothing all the time." So we decided let's put some of our knowledge together and do a book. And there it was.
Nice.
So it worked good.
So like Richard, I know you lived in a haunted house when you were young,
Yeah.
like, and that's what's piqued you. Like, can you tell some of the stuff that started this, like you looking into like the paranormal and what like piqued your interest?
Yeah, absolutely. I was young. I was the youngest boy of 5 boys in the family, and so I was a happy accident. So I was 10 years behind the other 4 siblings. So while they were out having a good time, I was getting sent to bed, and I would go to bed, and my parents would be downstairs on the main floor watching TV, and I would see some shadows in the hall, and I'd hear whispering. And the scariest thing for me was just beside the bed was a closet, and I would hear that lonely metal hanger on the nail and on the inside of the closet door scraping back and forth, swinging, and it would freak me out. And I would call my mom and my dad, and they'd rush up there and like, "Oh, just go to bed. You're just dreaming or something," But it was great because 35 years later, I got to go back and investigate that house, and they were all deceased relatives except one I couldn't identify. But yeah, it was and that piqued my interest. As scary as it was for me as a child, I wanted to know more, so I started talking to people, reading books, trying to learn as much as I could. Right, especially at that young age. And my parents weren't going to help me. They're like, "Oh, you're foolish, just don't worry about it." Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, usually mom and dads at that age are like, "Oh, it's an imaginary friend," or "You're just goofing around," or they don't listen. Yeah,
The
crazy.
monster in the closet.
Yeah.
Walk it off. He'll be fine.
Yeah. You take a lap, you'll be okay. Go on outside. So, but
That's
now I'm curious, like, so Richard, that was your experience. Like, Pete, what was it that piqued you into the paranormal? Like, what brought about your, like, obviously Richard from a very young age, like, were you similar, or was it a later in life type of thing?
No, it was also not as at a young age as Richard, but young enough to. I'm not quite sure what piqued my interest, whether it was a film or some idea that we could come back. It's possible to come back from death in a form more freeing than what we're experiencing now in the physical. So I'm not quite sure of the origin, but I remember being fascinated by the concept, and my only I didn't have the privilege of living in a haunted location. I probably would have done a number on me, but so I went to the library instead and took out every book they had at the time. They're mostly British ghosts in the
Hmm.
70s, and lots of material on that. And fast forward to 2002, I went on a ghost tour at Fort George in Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario. And what I loved about that tour was not only were you touring a fort after hours and in the dark with a lantern carrying guide, all the spooky ambiance and stuff, but you were getting a history lesson at the same time as you were sort of looking at the corner of your eyes for the people that they were talking about, possibly
Hmm.
showing up as a ghost. So that just sort of opened my mind to history and, reinvigorated my love or passion for this. And I started seeking a group who was serious about researching this phenomenon instead of as opposed to like, oh, look what we captured kind of thing. I wanted to know more. And I picked up one of Richard's books and his second one actually and said, this guy's he's thinking outside of the box. He's thinking outside of the theories that Harry Price and other investigators threw out there over the last 100 years. And I said, I got to get to know this guy. So, so I sought him out, and that's how we got connected.
Yeah, I was about to say, how did you guys meet and start investigating together?
Yeah,
What was, yeah, good.
yeah, Pete connected. He dropped by dropped by my house. He wanted to interview me,
Yeah.
and I went, wow, and I thought, this guy's level-headed. He seems bright. He seems interested. He's got that passion, and so I started inviting him to some of the jobs I was working on,
Mhm.
and it just grew from there. He just he took control of a lot of situations. Was helping out a lot, and so I brought him into the team, and over time I moved him right to the assistant director position because I
Nice.
Mhm.
felt if I couldn't make it to the job, I trusted him. He knew what he was doing, so I put the car keys in his hand.
So,
So
so what was the first investigation you guys were together on? Do you remember that?
I do.
uh,
Yes, it was for ended up being Richard's third book, I believe. Yeah, Ghosts.
oh,
Um, Richard was working on a 3-year investigation at this mansion in Mississauga, Ontario. And he wanted to do an experiment and needed some bodies to do it. And he remembered me after our talk and got a call and he asked me if I'd be interested. I was like, oh, I'm there. So I was there one evening and I think it was about a year and a half later, I got the next call because he was on to another project in closer to Toronto, and that's where I helped out on a longer term basis over a number of months and cut my teeth into the searcher group procedures and at the end of it, he asked me if I'd be interested in coming on full time.
Oh, very cool. So, when you guys, your priority in investigation, is it more to understand what's going on, for your, to help others understand, or are you going in and helping people who say, "Hey, our house is something's going on"? Like, which do you guys kind of gravitate towards? Because I know there's all kinds of people who do paranormal things. Some are like, we want to help a family. Some are like, we want to figure out, is this what kind of paranormal activity is like? Where do you guys kind of gravitate towards in your investigations, or is it all the
well, we do
above?
both.
Do both?
We do both. I mean, if somebody reaches out and they're having a hard time, we will help them
Hmm.
if we can. Logistically. I mean, if somebody calls me from Scotland, well, there's perfectly good teams in Scotland. I'm
Hmm.
not going to fly in. But there's two types of investigative work that we do. One is the call for help,
Hmm.
and then the other one that we sort of gravitate to more is the research project.
Yeah.
So this is an old building or reputed a haunted location or a government-owned facility or a museum or something that has a history. And we'll look to doing that because then we can get into experimental work and the research side of it. And then we can try and find out more of what's happening on the non-physical side by doing that sort of work. And that's more where I like to, put my teeth and get into it. Helping people, it's difficult. There's privacy issues. You have a lot of TV ghost shows. So, a lot of people call you up to come and help them, and then they think you're the entertainment. You'll show up and there's 18 people having a barbecue, and they're like, well, I just thought we could watch while you do this work. It's you get a lot of strange stuff, but so we like to gravitate to the research end of it, right?
Yeah. So I've been on like ghost tours, and I've had one or two experiences, but
Cool.
and I won't get it because I've talked about my show, and I don't want to bug you guys with my
It's okay.
two. One was at Gettysburg, and the other was at the U.S. Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio.
Oh.
And one when I was in high school when it happened. The other was just a couple years ago, because I didn't realize the ghost tour was one where we were going to actually try and communicate with ghosts. And I was being stupid and silly. And because I was like, they gave me dowsing rods, and I was like, I had no idea. And I started asking questions, and it started answering, and I was like, what? And then the guy said, and I had to ask some very specific things. Yeah. And then the guy was like, did you look at the memorial behind you? And I like, no. And because it was pitch black, and I turned, and I was asking questions about Ohio because I grew up there. And I was by the memorial for the Battalion of Ohio. And I was like, so they were answering these because I was like, well, are you from Dayton? And it's like, when I was like, whatever, because I was like, I'm from Dayton. And so it's like, and he's like, dude, and I was like, oh, then I just stopped. I was like, that freaked me out. But I'm curious because I am in the ghosting. I'm not in paranormal stuff. I'm not as educated as my friends are. And what are the different classifications of like a paranormal experience? Like what kind of ghosts, I guess, or entities are there that you've actually interacted with or may think you might have dealt with? Like, because I hear like when you watch the ghost shows, they'll be like, it's this, that, or it's a demon, it's the devil, or they go to like, it says, Satan came and talked to me. He knows my name. Yeah. It's like, yeah. I'm like, really? Does he really know your name? Or are you, are you sure that was Satan? I'm sure he's got something better to do that night, Yeah.
Well, he's got the phone book. He could check and see who.
Oh, yeah. He's got it, he's just spinning through names. And it's like, Zach seems to be really, really hooked in with the devil. They like seem to know him.
Yeah. They're pen pals.
Yeah.
But that's not to say there aren't demons. But I mean, they are so extremely rare. You have a better chance of winning a lottery 3 times in a row before you run into one. They are out there, but half the time they don't even care what you are or what you're doing. They have no interest. They have their own agendas. They're just doing their own thing. Unless you really get in their way. It's sort of like I'm sitting here watching the Super Bowl and you keep getting in front of the TV. Then, you've got my attention and it's not going to be good. And that's the way they are, basically, most of them. But they're extremely rare. Mostly, we're just running into people that are no longer physical. They're just doing their thing. And for the most part, there's 2 types of spirits that I've found. And that's the first one is the one that has a story to tell. They want to communicate. They want to tell you that they were a victim, or they have a secret and they want to tell you, and or they did something and they want to come clean with it, whatever. And then the other one is a little more difficult. They're the ones that have a secret. They weren't good people. They did bad things. They have these secrets and they don't want anybody to know. And they'll do anything they can to scare you away so you don't find out. And that translates in the spiritual side of things, where if there's a couple of spirits together in a house, one has a story to tell and the other one has a secret. Well, because they might slip out this guy's secret and they're not going to have that. So and then you get all kinds of problems, right? And then we get called.
Yeah.
Then we have to go sort it out. But yeah, so those are the two basics. I mean, there are other ones, of course, but the majority, those are the two. The ones with the story to tell and ones with the secret to keep. And then you have your shadow people. Whatever they are. They could be other dimensional. We did run into those where the place where Peter had mentioned down in the old mansion down at the Lake Ontario there. And that's because I think the government was doing cold fusion experiments on the property back in the 60s. And they may have created something there.
Like opened up something that
they may have inadvertently, or we didn't find that they were dangerous. They were very curious. They would just show up, sort of watch, see what we're doing, and even the mediums that we brought to the property, they would reach out to communicate with them, and they said they were hollow. They were just like static. There was nothing there to really communicate with. So it was very bizarre. Yeah, it's unlimited what can be out there. We have no idea.
And then you run into elementals. There's another possibility as well.
That's
right.
What is an elemental? Like, I'm curious. Like, I know, like from D&D, is that similar, or is there something more to it? Like in D&D, the elementals, like earth, wind, fire. Well, it's like earth, wind, fire, and and they control.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. They're earthbound creatures connected to forests and the earth and water and fire and trees and earth elements. Yeah.
And do you think that may be possibly like in folklore? Because I'm big into folklore. Do you think that's where people got the ideas of the fairies and all that, because of the elemental spirits? Because a lot of times fairies are
big time. Yeah.
Like I'm just trying to make. Yeah.
Yeah. They're basically creatures of the natural world, if you want to sum it up. Yeah.
Okay. And are they dangerous, or are they kind of harmless unless you piss them off?
I've never encountered one myself that I know of, so I can't really say. But I imagine, I mean, again, you mentioned folklore, but I'm sure there are many stories of where their homes have been destroyed by builders, or in Ireland, story of, I think, Lep Castle was built on a fairy mound or something, or nearby, and disturbed anyway. So all kinds of legends and lore, but they always say there's a little nugget of truth into every legend,
every story,
or piece of lore. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's right. Lep Castle, it is documented to having a elemental there.
Yeah.
Right. There's reports of it being seen. Mostly smelt, actually.
So when someone passes, like, I mean, if you go with like the Judeo-Christian, like you go to heaven, hell, what do you think is keeping someone in a certain area? Like, because I'm assuming not everybody stays, and that some are staying, some are going. Where they are going, I don't know, but what have you found to be the reason for some of the spirits staying where they are at, like in these buildings. Like you said, some have secrets that they are trying to hide, and maybe that's what they're staying there. They don't want anyone to find that. But you said some want to tell you everything. So what's keeping them there? You know, why
So,
is it just so that they can tell stories, or like what have you
no,
found?
yeah. So I have a theory on that.
Right.
Now you're getting into religion, right? But if you look at all the major religions,
Mhm.
and I've had this conversation with priests and rabbis and pastors, and they always give me the sideways look when I get to that question.
Mhm.
And I tell them what I feel is the thing is they're all here. You
Okay.
know, religion says, well, you're going to go to heaven or you're going to go to hell.
Mhm.
Okay, that's cool. But all major religions have the same belief that there's a judgment day. So my contention for the building of the theory that I propose is if there's a judgment day, then how are you going anywhere until that time comes? So it's not like, hey, hey, he was a good guy, off to heaven you go. And then judgment day happens, it goes, he's not supposed to be there, right? So there's got to be a time
Mhm.
where this is all sorted out. Until that time, they have to be here.
Mhm.
Now, under the theory I developed, it's called the memory matrix and the memory bubble. You go through your life review. You die and you do a life review. And during that review, you might speed through it and go, hey, you know what? I remember when I was in my 20s, I had a great time. I was at the cottage and I just met this girl and my favorite dog. And I'm going to build a whole memory bubble, a whole reality about that time. And I'm
Mhm.
going to, all those people, the animal, everything is going to be from my mind, a facsimile of it. And I won't know the difference. It's like I'm in heaven. And I'm going to build that little bubble for reality and I'm going to exist there. Time's not going to pass. I won't know the difference and I'll exist there. But people go through that life review, and if they get right to the very end and they go, I was a victim, I have a story to tell, or
Mhm.
I was I got secrets to keep, they are closer to our reality,
Mhm.
and we run into them as investigators more often. The majority of people are content. They picked a little slice of time in their lifetime and created this bubble of reality for themselves, like an arrow bar, if you can imagine
Mhm.
arrow all these little
Yeah.
bubbles. And they're all out there, but they're content. They're quiet. We never run into them. We rarely communicate with them.
Mhm.
So it's only a small portion, a small portion.
Mhm.
So maybe a couple of million of these ghosts out there that
Yeah.
have stories to tell or secrets to keep, and we're running into them.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Interesting.
But
That.
it's more complex than that. The whole theory uh, is a lot more moving parts, but that's the gist of it.
Very cool. Yeah, that is an interesting thing. I hadn't heard that before. That's really cool.
No,
And
and
uh,
that's one of the theories that Richard put out in his second book, and what drew me to him. And I
Mhm.
was thinking, this is more than just the explanation, like, oh well, I don't know, they come back because they have unfinished business, which may not,
Mhm.
might be true, but it was really refreshing to hear another take on this and
Mhm.
some forward thought. And it's in
and
the
the,
manual too.
Okay.
I
Yes.
think the wonderful thing was it's subjective, but when I say wonderful, not for the individual, but um, in Canada, I think it was Vancouver. Gentleman has an old elderly gentleman. He was having seizures. Went to the hospital to do some tests, find out what was going on with the seizure. They hooked him up to EEG to scan his brain. While he
Mhm.
was on the table, he died. Now this is an actual case. It's in the newspapers. There's been papers written on it. It was only a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
And the doctor saw that even though he was dead, the brain activity in the hippocampus region, which is memory, kept going for minutes. And even the
Wow.
doctor said it was like he was doing a life review. So science by accident starting to catch up to what paranormal researchers have already discovered. So, science always takes time to catch up,
Yeah.
but we're always ahead of them.
I do find this fascinating. I know there's been other people who've done experiments where they've put things in operating rooms or whatever above because they're researching the out of body experiences.
Right.
And
Near-death
then they would,
experiences.
near death. And then they would ask people, hey, what did you see in the room? And then they would describe this picture.
Yeah.
And then they'd go in there, and that picture was on top of this cabinet. And it's like, and I always found that fascinating. I was like, that is really
Mhm.
cool.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, it is super cool stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
the paranormal stuff has always been fascinating. Like I'm I'm a wimp when it comes to it. I get really nervous. Like I don't know. There's something about
What?
my head in my head, like going in a place and not being able to see what is there.
Sure.
I find it fascinating, but at the same time, I always am like I'm like talking like it going back to like to the ghost shows. I always found that to me bizarre yelling for something to hit or scratch you, and in my mind is like I don't want to be hit or scratched by somebody I see. I
Yeah.
don't want to be hit or scratched by something I can't stop. So like if
Absolutely. Yeah.
at least if I can see the person coming at me, I can like try
Mhm.
and dodge it, but I'm not gonna be like, yeah, hit me, come on. It's like, well, to who? To like, and I don't even know
Yeah.
who I'm yelling at. The ghost could be 100 times bigger than me. I have no idea. Or like you said, the rare demon who shows up and is like, oh, okay, so
Yeah.
I'll hit you. So like what are your takes on those shows? Like, because you guys are doing serious research, and I'm sure in my mind, I try and give the benefit of the doubt that I assumed that at one point the people who are doing these shows that are like really extravagant, at one point they were trying to do serious research, but in my mind it's like they're like we've got to get ratings, and
Right.
so they start either embellishing the stories or
Mhm.
embellishing what's going on, shaking the cameras to make, and it's even to a point where I did this to show my son, like I can make an like a electronic voice phenomenon. We have we have the ability to fake one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I just said to him, I go, yeah, well, yeah, it's saying his name. I go, but how do I know they didn't do that
Mhm.
in post?
Right. Mhm.
And
Oh yeah.
so what are your thoughts on the shows that are doing this? Like, I'm sure there's some benefits to it, but then I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
It makes our job harder. It
Mhm.
creates
Yeah.
a lot of problems. If people would just look at it as what it is, it's entertainment. These guys are
Mhm.
actors. If you look on, I am, what's that?
Oh,
DB.
IMDb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You'll see them all listed. They're actors,
Mhm.
right? They're not researchers. They're not parapsychologists. They're actors,
Yeah.
and they all. And if they uh, finish on this particular show, then they'll work on this particular show, right?
Mhm.
And they're all interchangeable. They all work together because they
Yeah.
know each. It's like magicians.
Yeah.
Well, I know your secrets, you know my secrets, and how we're gonna fudge this whole show. So listen, we keep the circle tight. We work together, and
Mhm.
rarely do you see a new face, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, they
Um,
just rotate through.
Mhm.
it's entertainment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, what the problem is you have a non-suspecting public that doesn't understand that, and they'll call up and say, "Hey, I've got a haunting, and can you help me?" And you go over there, and they're like, uh, if you were Zach, you would have solved this in 42 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, why is
Right.
it taking 3 days or 8 days or what? Like,
A
so,
month.
yeah, it's It creates all kinds of problems. And not only that, you've got all these creation. Those shows create people that call themselves paranormal researchers, but they're thrill seekers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right? They just want to get a little glimpse of something, have an experience, and then off to the next place, and then off to the next place.
Mhm.
And they're creating all kinds of turmoil with property owners,
Mhm.
management people, and then when a researcher shows up, like Peter or myself, and we knock on the door, they're like, no, I've had it with
Yeah.
you guys. So we're being denied access to stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it does create lots of problems.
Do you think they're stirring things up as well in the paranormal, like when they go in with the equipment and with like,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
because I know sometimes they bring in a medium or a witch or like, or they get in there with Ouija boards and they start doing stuff.
Mhm.
Like in my mind, it's like, are you really helping that area and that person in that situation, or are you just opening more more doors to and agitating and causing more problems?
Mm.
Well,
Like,
they
Yeah.
are, and I'll tell you
Yeah.
why they're doing it. And Zach created this. A great deal of it. Situations where he'll go into a place that's never been heard of before, and
mhm,
he'll say, "Oh, okay," so he'll do a whole show on it. It's really haunted and everything. Next thing you know, by next Friday, it's $300 to get in, and everybody
mhm,
wants to get in. Hey, Zach was there, so
mhm,
he created this situation where it's take a place, an unknown place,
Mhm.
make it fantastic, do a
mhm,
great show. He gets a
Mhm.
cut, right? Hey,
mhm,
give me a cut, and we'll promote it for you. And then everybody's making money.
mhm.
And then
Like a
people go, "Oh man, yeah, I got this EVP. Well, where'd you get it? Oh, I went to the Washoe Club with 85 other people, and I got this EVP.
mhm.
How'd you get an EVP with 85 people in the room? Could have been somebody's stomach gurgling.
Mhm.
It's just like, okay. So yeah, it's just nonsense stuff, but
Yeah.
don't
That
get
that sensationalism, as Richard says, has made it our jobs harder. And if I could get back to the handbook for a second, that was
Yeah.
another reason why that was one of my impetuses to write that, because I felt we should try to coax groups that are out there that are not thrill seekers, that are actually serious about the research, but they're kind of stuck. So this
Mhm,
manual is, as Richard has said before, is a shortcut. It's sharing
mhm,
all the information that the searcher group has been, through Richard, has been successful with since 1979, and not stuff that works, some stuff that doesn't. And so this is a pretty comprehensive manual. We feel that shares our results. We've been very successful with them, made a lot of advancements, we feel. And so it's all in this book. And if the hope is that some of these groups who are earnestly interested in investigating like we are and looking for answers into the human condition, not
mhm,
likes on YouTube or try to get your own television show. That's not what we're about.
mhm,
We're interested in the human story and where we go after we leave the physical. I mean, we're all going to find out, right? But we
mhm.
just want a little sneak peek, uh, if we can, and ask them if we can get on good terms with a spirit if they're there. But sorry, I'm going on a tangent. But
No.
so the manual was our hope is that people will pick it up. Let's just get all on the same page if we can. Share research, share experiments, try an experiment that another group proposes, and then communicate that. It's going to take a discussion to advance this research, and so that's where the hope is the manual will help with that.
I'm curious. You mentioned like different equipment and stuff. I know that like on the shows they pull out their all their gadgetries
Right.
like the Ghostbusters. And at what is there something like is there a piece of equipment that you have found that they like to show off that you think is kind of like not really legit, or is there a piece of equipment that you think people have talked about like, oh yeah, this is the best thing, and you're kind of like, it may not be the best, like, or should they read your book to find that out?
Oh, they could do both.
Yeah.
Um, for me, my answer would be a device called the Portal. You
Hmm.
may have seen it. It's sold and shown on TV as a spirit box with a filter on it
Hmm.
that apparently filters out all the garbage white noise, what they call garbage, and they house it in an antique radio with little LED lights around it, for the spooky effect and that kind of thing. But my argument is why? Like the spirit box is probably the closest thing we have to real-time communication for those of us who aren't psychic.
Hmm.
Um, and by throwing a filter in it, like, how do you know you're not
Filtering out.
yeah, filtering out information that could be possible,
Hmm.
So I mentioned this in the book. I said, you got to think about these kind of things and try not to go in for the look and just do the work and
Hmm.
listen to a spirit box session. Keep them short so that when you listen back to them, you're not like uh, deluging your hearing with half an hour of like
Yeah.
radio in your ear. Just keep the sessions short and really listen. There are
Hmm.
layers to radio waves. I found at least four.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm overly sensitive to hearing them, but I found there are at least four layers. And if you throw a filter on there to, get rid of that lowest layer or the last two, who knows what you're missing.
Hmm.
So
What
that's
about
my, yeah, that's
what
my,
about you, Richard? Like, do you have a piece of equipment you're kind of like,
Yeah, well,
leave
I
it
don't
at
like,
home?
yeah, I don't like, I don't like gimmick stuff. I don't like the obelisk, right? It just comes up with random words and I'm like, okay, so, you know, uh,
yeah.
underwear, drawer, murder. Oh, wait, it said murder. Right. So it
Yeah.
just throws
Right.
random stuff out and then you cherry pick what fits in your investigative and the other stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, let's just forget about that.
Yeah.
I don't like that stuff or the gimmick stuff where you unscrew the flashlight so it's just like it doesn't know if it's on or off. And every time you tap on the floor, it goes on and off, and it's like, oh, it's
Yeah.
talking. It's like gimmick stuff. It's just I hate that
Yeah.
sort of thing. That's like for my group, the workhorse is audio video surveillance.
Yes.
Hmm.
Um, I had 4 units, had them specially built, modified. Uh, all the built-in microphones were enhanced to 10 hertz instead of 20. So it's a wider range of frequencies. These were standalone. We just drop them in an area. And what I found is spirits are very social. They love to talk amongst themselves.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe not to you, or me, but amongst themselves. So we used to drop these surveillance kits into the place. Then we talk about them, get the atmosphere going. It could be negative or positive. We're going, oh, I don't even believe in stuff like this. It's like whatever, right? And then we would leave. We go to the coffee shop, get some coffee, and there's no one in the house. It's locked down. There's nobody there. Everything's off.
Hmm.
There's nothing running. And then all of a sudden you hear creak, 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 a couple footsteps, and then they start to talk. Well, what did you hear what he said? And they would use each other's names,
Yeah.
just like we would. And then we come back. We wouldn't know this, of course, because we haven't reviewed it, but we would
Hmm.
review it. And then the next time we go back, now we have names. And then we
Oh,
can do
nice.
things. We can ask them because now we have their name.
Yeah.
And then we can do research to see if these people have anything to do with that property.
Hmm.
So it's intelligence gathering. So
Mhm.
I have a security and law enforcement background, and I run it the same way as we would run any other operation, right?
Mhm.
Gaining that intelligence through surveillance. So whether it's living criminals or ghosts, we're collecting the intelligence on them. And best way to do that is audio video surrounds.
Yeah.
And you might get shadows, you might get movement, you might have something going on as well. So it's really collecting that data, and it gives you more ammunition
Hmm.
the next time you go. And that's why we stay long term on investigations, right? Whether months or years.
Yeah,
Because
you're going to
every time
need more
we do
than
that-
42 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, the longer you stay on, you start to build relationships with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you're a decent person and you treat them respectfully,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
they start to tell you more. They start to
Mhm.
give more information.
Yeah.
They start to help you out.
Well, I
And
mean,
over time,
yeah, well, it's kind of like a hunter. Like if they're in the woods, you're not gonna find a deer every time you go there. You gotta wait and
Right.
No,
see,
fishing.
and you get and fishing, same thing. It's not every time, but you learn something every time. Like, okay, this is why I did it. And so
Yeah.
so you're kind of doing the same thing, but with the spiritual realm. Eh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You pick up
And you
patterns.
can learn a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, you learn about them, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they have a sense of humor. A
Mhm.
lot of
Yeah.
them have a sense of humor. You get the most ridiculous stuff. I can't remember who it was. I think it was the cottage. Somebody said, "Is anybody here?" And we got an EVP back said, "No." Okay, so where do we go from here?
Right.
Yeah. Well, there wasn't anyone there, so you just leave, right?
Yeah.
That's all.
Yep.
See, I think that's what I'd be like if I was a ghost. I'd just be giving them crap answers. Just,
Mm-hmm.
but, I am curious. Like, so, has there ever been an investigation that you came away with like, holy cow, I don't know what's going on here. Have you ever come across something like an event where you just could not figure out what was happening?
Mhm. Oh,
Yeah. I would think that would be the cottage. Yeah, Richard.
yeah.
Before we carry on anymore, your camera's been jostled.
Oh yeah,
Got a ghost in the machine there. There
yeah.
you go.
But I
There's
like
your
your
mug.
I like your little alien though back there. That's
Thanks. I don't know what's going on here. There it is.
yeah.
But yeah, the cottage location in Richard's fifth book,
Uh-huh.
Meeting Place of the Dead. That was about a year and a half investigation, and crazy stuff going on. We couldn't make heads or tails of. We're finding some great stuff, lots of evidence, but we couldn't piece together a straight narrative. It was like the Union Station of haunted locations. We kept going back, and there were different eras, time eras. So it was very confusing. We couldn't nail down a particular one. But then we also bring up elementals or creatures that are not human,
Mhm.
unhuman. Um, and they started showing up there as well. And we had separate mediums again. They don't know each other. We bring them on separately. We don't tell them what we found, etc. Nothing about the location. And two separate mediums picked up on these creatures that were, in their words, trying to look like children, which is not a good sign.
Mm.
And the team was getting hurt. We had a medium who was choked one evening, right in front of everybody. And it was starting to get dangerous. So that was the only case that I've been on anyway that had to be terminated because the warning signs were too grave, and it could have gotten a lot worse. Oh, each of the team members were followed home as well,
You know,
and we all lived
Oh.
in separate cities as well.
Oh.
So yeah, Richard has seen these signs before, and we just had to tell the client, somebody's going to get hurt, if we carry on. So we didn't want to poke the bear anymore.
yeah. But there are things that occur that are so bizarre that there's not even a category. There's
Mhm.
not even there's not even a description or a word for it for these phenomena.
Mhm.
And I'm usually very reluctant to talk about certain things because yeah, doing this for, I mean, I've been doing it since 1979, so almost 5 decades, and you see stuff, and you're like, like just forget about it because let's just walk away. Like we were doing the Scarborough Guild of All Arts. So it's an old mansion. It was opened up to artists in the 60s. It was used by the military in the 40s. Very, very haunted place. And city councilor asked me to come down there and work with two journalists from the local paper. And I said, sure. And we had set up a camera in one of the long hallways. And there was no one on the floor. It was just running like we usually leave it.
Mhm.
And this orb, it's about the size of a basketball, come over the top of the camera and then went down the hall, flew down the hall and landed on the floor, and it's wobbling like jello. And then it rolled off into a room. Now we had no idea until later. My brother's the analyst. He looks at everything, and he calls and he says, "Oh my God, you got to come and look at this." So of course I rush over and we watch this thing, and it lands and it's wobbling and it's got every color in the rainbow in it, and then it rolls off into the room, and I'm perplexed, completely
Mhm.
perplexed, because the camera I was using was black and white,
Mhm.
and yet there it was, every color of the rainbow.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
how
Yeah,
do
what do you do with that?
Right.
that's like
That's
okay, right?
that's incredible.
I'm going to tell somebody, and he's going to go, "What are you smoking?" Right?
Mhm.
So, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's nice. Okay,
Wow.
That
so
now,
you file it away, and you go, "Okay,
yeah,
that was good."
yeah,
Really, what are
you
you going
just
to do with it? It's
Yeah.
just, and
that's
then there's
that's
other stuff. You'll record it, either audio or video. I've done this several times, and you'll play it, and it's not like you're playing it for yourself. There's your
Mhm.
team's there, or the analyst is there, and I'm there, and we're listening or watching this thing,
Mhm.
and we watch it 3 or 4 times or whatever it is, and then it's gone.
Mhm.
No longer exists.
Yeah.
You rewind and you hit play and you go, where the hell did it go? It's gone.
Hmm. Hmm.
Oh
Like,
wow,
like, how do you explain this?
that's
So
crazy.
you file it on the dusty shelf and you just carry on. It's like there's no explanation.
I guess the category is high strangeness.
Yeah.
in
Mhm.
that.
Now you had mentioned something, and I just wanted to follow up because now I'm curious. Well, you mentioned two things. I'm curious. You said that you all were followed home
Mhm.
Mm.
from by something or someone or something. What do you do when that happens? What like let's say if I go somewhere and I am dumb and I stir things up and I don't know what I'm doing because I want to be like the TV stars
Right.
and I screw around and I'm assuming that happens to a lot of people who go and do like I want to be like those guys and they do and then they come home and now there's weird stuff happening at their home. Like what do you do? What should someone do if they are followed home by something that they don't know what's going on? What would you suggest? Because
No,
I am curious about that.
yeah, you do what I do. It's, if I notice they're there, and they usually let you know they're there. I just
Yeah.
say, you're not welcome here, get out.
Hmm.
That's it. That's all I do. Get out.
Mm-hmm.
There really
And
isn't much you
you only
can do,
want to
really.
leave.
Right.
Even if
Um,
they leave, they're going to go,
yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
the little secret is 99% of the time they have a connection to where they came from,
Mm-hmm.
where
Yeah.
you were and you met them, and then they followed you home.
Mm-hmm.
they still have that connection. They don't belong where you are.
Right.
They might want to visit, maybe cause some couple of problems or go, scare you.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to go back to where they belong, is where their emotional connection is, right? For
Mhm.
wherever you found them.
So I'm
That
guessing though, if you start interacting with them at your place, then they're going to stay a little bit longer, as opposed to like you said, go away. Like,
yeah, just you're not welcome, go. And then it
Mm.
stop. Just don't acknowledge them. Just like
okay.
Mhm.
And the yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say, and in some cases, like the cottage, the way each of us read our visitations was that it was a message.
Mm-hmm.
We figured there was sort of a quarterback kind of spirit or entity back at the cottage sending lesser thans out to do their bidding. And the message was, you've come onto my property, see what we can do, and you can't do a darn thing about it. So it's and what better way to get you to stop investigating than to scare not just the investigator, but the spouses of the investigator or the pet,
Yeah.
terrorize the pet, um, and get them to, beg you not to go back and stir things up or ask questions or whatever you're doing in your investigation. So,
yeah,
and right at the head of the book, we in the prologue we précis the whole manual by saying to somebody just starting out doing this, are you sure you want to do this? Because you could go out and someone can follow you home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without any intention. You don't even have to stir it up um, consciously, but
Mm-hmm.
just by your being on a site might inspire someone to, oh, I'm going to connect to that person's aura or energy and see what their place is like, kind of thing. It could happen as
Mm-hmm.
as you're finding out in this whole talk. Anything is possible. So,
Yeah.
are you sure you want to do this kind of work? And hopefully, by reading the manual, they'll either think twice or go about it, uh, thinking broadly and
Mm-hmm.
smartly.
You also mentioned the thing about they were posing as children, and you said that was a bad sign. And I've always thought that in my mind,
Mm,
that is like anytime seen a show or anything, it's like, oh, it's a kid and they start playing toys with it. I'm always like,
mm,
I don't think that's a kid. And like it just I naturally was like, I think that's something bad. Like when it's trying to get you to open up to it. Like in my mind, I was like, yeah, it's trying to get you to go home with you or to do something to F you up. And I was like, so why that
possible.
was my own mindset. But why do you say when something poses as a child that that's a bad sign? Like,
well,
I'm just
the-
curious.
right. A child's innocent, and any normal individual, if a child's in danger or in harm's way, you're gonna want to help. So
Mm-hmm.
by posing as a child in that situation, you're drawing them in. You're drawing, right? I would draw you in. If I was pretending to be a child, I would draw you in.
And trying to
Mm-hmm.
earn trust.
And then, yeah, I, you trust me, and now I've got control, right? I
Mm-hmm.
can start being the puppet master. I can play games, and you're gonna think, oh, I gotta help this kid, and then they
Mm,
can lead you astray. They can lead you to all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to tell the difference. I mean, some of them are kids that are out there,
Mm-hmm.
while others aren't, right? They're playing, could be anything mischievous, or it could be diabolical,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
right? You have no intentions, but you don't know what the intentions are, right? And
Mm,
that's
Yeah.
what stunning is. It's like walking in the physical, walking down a dark alley, and there's all kinds of people in this alleyway. You have no idea who they are or what their intentions are. They might be somebody wants to give you a sandwich, and another guy wants to cut your throat and take your wallet. You have
mm,
no
Mm-hmm.
idea, right?
True.
Because people are what they are,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
living or dead. If you were really bad in
Mm,
life, you're not all of a sudden a saint when you die. You're
no.
still that
Mm-hmm.
bad person. So
Yeah,
you take it.
that's good thoughts and advice on that. Like, because I always wondered when people did that, I was like, why are you doing that? But So obviously, I know that your first thing would be if someone came to you and said, "Hey, I want to start getting into paranormal investigation," you would say, "Read our book." And I want to, before I ask this next question, where can people find your book? Like where, because they want to check it out
Right.
and they're interested. And like you said, it could sway them one way or the other, be like, yes, I still want to, or no, I don't. Like like once they start reading it and find out where can people get a hold of your book and also find out more information following you guys. I'd like to get your like information out there for people to check
Right.
it.
Yeah. Well, Llewellyn Worldwide is the publisher of the complete Paranormal Investigation Handbook. So you can go to their website. I found it's been down in the last few days for some reason, but uh, anyway, you can get it on Llewellyn when they're up.
Hmm.
Amazon,
Okay.
worldwide, you can find it, and any good bookstore should have it as well.
Okay. And I'll
Check.
put the links so people can see it. And
Right,
do you,
cool.
and do you guys do you want to share your website and any insert like social media that people can come check out your stuff before I get
We're
to the
both
next
on,
question?
yeah, we're both on Facebook,
Okay.
and the website is, www.thesearchergroup.ca.
Yeah.
And you can get a hold of me through Facebook, Richard
Okay.
Palmisano, or you go through the website and you can just email me at richard@thesearchergroup.ca.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm easy to reach, I'm easy to find. You could just put my name in and Google it. Go Richard Palmisano Paranormal and
You're
all the
probably the
books.
only one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And my email is in the manual as well at the
Okay.
back of the book, and my debut book I've got behind me here, Haunted Town Halls, is back there too.
Oh, nice.
So love to hear from you.
Yeah. And now I only got a few more questions because I don't want to keep you guys because I know we're shooting pretty late. And
Yeah.
um other than getting your book, if someone came to you and said, I want to get into paranormal investigation, what would uh you say to them? I guess we'll go with Richard first. And what would you say to a young guy like, I want to be a paranormal investigator? What would you suggest they do?
I would suggest that they they learn. Read some books. Um, Try to take some. You don't need to take a 4-year university course. Just maybe some small courses. Just to get some experience and knowledge about different skill sets. Because to do this job properly, you need a whole pile of skill sets. And the more information you have, the better you can start thinking outside the box and learning about what you're doing, and then you can do it properly, right? So I've some of my skill sets are I'm a trained investigator, criminal investigator. I've worked in government surveillance programs, so I know how to do that properly. Uh, I took 2 years of architectural drafting. And you're like, well, so what? But when you go to an old building, you want to know what type of style it is. You want to know more about that building. First thing I do is walk around the building and count all the windows. And then
Mhm.
when I go inside, I count the windows again, because sometimes you'll find windows outside and not inside. That means there might be a hidden room or something's going on. So all these little skill sets help. Um, so there's a whole pile of things you can learn, and you don't have to learn them all, because then you
Mhm.
can call in a friend that might have an interest, and they might have different skill sets,
Yeah.
and that's how you build a team, right? I'm good at this, and you're good at that, so you put them together, and hey, we're pretty good. So you can't do everything, and you can't know everything, and that's why you build a team, right? You bring in those other skills and those other minds, and there's other opinions,
Mhm.
and now you've got something, right? And that's how you work it. So I wouldn't discourage anybody.
Mhm.
Um, I would encourage them, but I would encourage them to, if they have that passion, then learn about it. right?
Mhm.
Just don't run off and, that's like yeah, I want to be a bomb disposal guy, but I don't want to learn anything. I just want to go cut wires and stuff. No, learn about it first and then go do it, right?
Mhm.
So,
That'd be a short career.
yeah,
Mhm. And I would say the same thing. I would encourage reading.
Mhm.
Very, very much so. I feel like it's a lost art, actually, a lost skill. So I
Mhm.
would, again, back to the manual. We have our bibliography is chock full of highly, highly recommended titles that we've drawn through the years and have only touched on briefly in the manual. And it's a pretty thick manual, as you
Mhm.
observed. Um, so yeah, I would say reading, and so not just about sort of real life things like architecture and that kind of thing, but also the history of this field, the people who have
Mhm.
gone before us and have made their own discoveries and made their own theories, and you could take them and test them yourself in the field and see what works, what doesn't work, what doesn't make
Mhm.
sense, and build your own theory and experiments based on that. But read, read. That's
Yes.
why I love libraries.
Yeah.
start with that book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went over
Start,
your,
yeah. Start with your book, and like I said, I started reading it, and I find it fascinating. Like, and it hasn't deterred me yet, but also
Okay,
has
good.
it hasn't made me want to run out either. Because, like I told you, I'm at my core something about ghosts. I find them fascinating, but I like hearing other people's stories and
Oh, great.
research.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I can enjoy your guys' research and hear about what you guys have done. I'm like, I don't know if I need to go to that cabin.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
yeah,
in the introduction, at the opening, you said you're more of a monsters in the forest kind of guy.
yeah. But
Well,
even then, yeah, like
I
I
would,
will if I found monsters, I'd observe them from afar, and
yeah, but would they
yeah,
observe you from afar?
yeah, exactly, yeah, yeah. No, but like I think it's because in my mind, like some of them I know they're just flat out folklore, so I know they're stories, and I just find it fascinating because, like you said, there was a bit of truth, something they experienced,
Mhm.
and then that developed the stories. But then, like if you get into Bigfoot and stuff, my thought is still in the mind, like I can see it, whereas with ghosts, like the fact that I can't see it, I
Yeah,
can see what it does,
Yeah.
or but like the idea that it can like be right there by my face, and
Yeah. Mhm.
all of a sudden I'll feel a cold breeze, and I'll be like, ah, just like
Yeah.
why, what, you know,
Yeah. No,
but
I was very, very nervous getting into this.
yeah,
But it was a fear I wanted to conquer because my passion
yeah,
overrode the fear. And I found that the longer I do this, the less fear I feel.
yeah,
And it's just become practical work. I just, okay, this is how we go about it. Let's go it. Let's do it
yeah,
and see what we get. So,
yeah,
that's not to say that scary things don't happen, but
yeah,
that I get that question asked of me a lot is, aren't you scared doing
yeah,
this? And I'm not trying to be, show any bravado or anything, and not machismo. Certainly not. It's just, the more you like anything, you learn more as you do this, and it I think that the fear factor is diminished greatly for me
hmm
anyway.
yeah. Well, I
but
think it's like over time you just learn,
Yeah.
and and you understand a little bit more.
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah,
Like you said, obviously, like if you went out and the first time something followed you home, you'd probably be wigged out of your mind. Like, why is this
Maybe.
here? And you're at
Yeah.
the point where it's just like, hey, get out. You're not allowed in here. And it's like, you know,
yeah. I mean, there in anything you do, like monsters in the forest or ghosts, there's going to
mhm,
be moments where
Yeah.
uh, things can be seem to be out of hand. And,
mhm,
I've been at a place where it was. I rarely get scared, but you know, this particular night I was working a job and some weird stuff happen, and I did a quick calculation in my head how much the equipment was worth in the house. And I decided, you know what, I'm leaving it, and I'm gonna get in the car and I'm going. And I did. I just drove away. Luckily, the stuff was still there the next day when I came back. I got the bravado to come back and continue, but that particular night, no, I'm out.
Yeah.
Just deal me out. I'm going home. It can happen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get that gut feeling, and you better listen to it. It says,
Mhm.
this is bad, go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so I don't question my gut. If it says go, I'm out of there. If you see me running, try and keep up.
And the cool thing is about your book, it's the complete paranormal investigation handbook. I think it's going to give people a lot of like a step up or kind of a head start. Whereas, because you're giving so much of your knowledge that you've figured out over all these years, as opposed to someone going in and banging their head on a wall over and over, you're kind of like, hey, we've done these things, and these are the things we're finding that work. This is how we do an investigation. So it's really cool that you're giving that out there to people to be able, like, so they're not just going out and just buying every crazy light up thing they can find and thinking I can go do this. You're kind of helping them like take these steps. And so so if my people who are watching or listening, get the book if you are interested in going, and even if you're not interested, get the book and read it, because I think it'll help you when you watch these shows be like, why are they doing that? So,
Yeah.
because like and I think that, like, as I've been reading, I've been finding, I'm like, that's really like a lot of stuff in there has been fascinating to me that I'm like trying to still get through. And I'm just like, this is pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
Like,
it's information heavy. Yeah. Thanks for thank you very much for that.
yeah, I do need to buy a copy to get to my buddy, because I was like, I know he'll love it. He'll be like, it'll be his favorite thing.
Sweet.
So
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
The intention is not to, we're trying to save the reader's time. I mean, if you want to start, you don't need to buy the book. You don't need to read it. But what you're going to find is you're going to try and reinvent the wheel. And over time, you're going to go, oh, I just discovered this. And then you're going to hear somebody say, oh, that's already in that book. So you could have saved all that time and money and energy and not reinvent the wheel. You can go, not to say that you need to believe everything. And I suggest that you don't.
Yeah.
Take what we're saying, test it. That's the goal. Test it.
Yeah.
And then when it works, now it's worked for several investigators. Now we're into something interesting, right? Because that's peer reviewing work. And once you start to peer review work and you're getting the same results over several different people, over several different areas of the world, now you're into something interesting. So, and that's our goal, is we want to share that information, and we want to bring legitimacy to what we do. And I think a lot of investigators out there feel the same way. We need to work together. This is a big mystery. It's a huge mystery.
And like you said, there's like probably about 1 million spirits out there that you can interact with. So you need more people out there to interact with them, because to get their stories.
Yeah, let's do it correctly. Let's do it safely.
And cooperatively.
Yeah,
definitely.
Always take 2 flashlights.
Yeah.
Always take 2, because you get right in the middle of the house. It's the darkest place you've ever been, and your batteries die. And now you're like, oh, how do I get out of here?
Right.
Just take 2 flashlights. Let people know where you are.
Know where the exits are.
Where, do a walkthrough. But realistically, I don't understand why people are investigating in the dark.
Yeah, you don't need to. Like, I've always wondered that too, but
well, it's ambiance for TV, right? It's scarier. Oh, we're looking through, everything is green because it's night vision. But You don't need to do it in the dark. Actually, half the ghosts that are reported being seen is during the day.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't need to be pitch black, and it's
Yeah.
worse, as now you can't read what's on your equipment. You can't get a proper reading because everything's pitch black. You're tripping over stuff, and God forbid it's an old building and there's holes in the floor, you're going to die. So, sometimes the light's a little better to work
Mhm.
in, but
I think, yeah.
Yeah, as soon as if I catch a show on TV, as soon as they turn off the lights, I turn the channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And that's interesting that you said that, because I think most of the ghost sightings at Gettysburg battlefield are during the day,
Yeah.
because
Hmm.
you can't go out on the battlefield at night.
Right.
It's shut off. And so
Right.
whenever you heard, yeah, we saw this, it's like, when? Well, it was like, well, you couldn't have been there at the night because you can't get in there. It's like they saw a soldier in the middle of the day. So that is fascinating.
Mhm.
I never even thought about that.
Mm.
But
Well, and
yeah,
that's TV. That's
Yeah.
TV. We're programming ourselves to
that's
believe
the
that
thing.
ghosts only come out at night, right? It's
Yeah.
going to be, it's going to be 3 o'clock in the morning, right? It's the
Yeah.
Trinity, and it's like, oh, good Lord. And it's all Hollywood. But
Mhm.
there's a lot of misconceptions and misinformation.
Mhm.
And that's all in your book.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Much
well,
of it.
well, I want to just thank both of you guys coming, Pete and Richard, and definitely I'm going to have all the links to your book and your social media stuff so people can go check you out. And I'm recommending everyone go out, check out your book, and check out your website. And like I said, if you're going to go out and investigate, be informed and do it smartly and safely, and don't believe everything you see on TV. And until next time, everyone, stay safe and keep searching.